And then there'll be questions on limit of sum, where we can change these limits into integral questions. So in all such questions, we'll be given some limit, which is limit n tends to infinite, and then this summation r varies from, suppose, a to n into b, and this is some function of r by n. And then we should also have 1 by n. So if we have such cases, then we can always change this limit into an integration. Now there are 3 conditions which are required. First condition is this limit, it should always be n tends to infinite or x tends to infinite. Second is this function, it should be a function of r by n. So r is the variable of summation, and wherever we have r, it should be of the form r by n. So that's our second condition. And the third condition is we should have 1 by n multiplied to it. So these are the 3 conditions. So if these 3 conditions are satisfied, then we can write this summation as this integral. We can write 1 by n as dx, and we can write r by n as x. So it will be this integral fx dx. So summation, it changes into integral. R by n, it is x, so it will be fx, and 1 by n, it is dx. And then we need to put in the limits. Now lower limit is r equals a. So if we put x as a by n, and if a is constant, then it will be simply a by infinite, and a by infinite, it is 0. And if we put upper limit, which is n into b, so n and n will cancel, so it will be from 0 to b. So we need to calculate the limits of this integral using this relation, which is x equals r by n, by putting in the lower value of r and the upper value of r. And then we can simply solve this integral to find the value of this limit. Now here the question is, for a belongs to r and mod a greater than 1, we need to solve this limit. Now we'll write this limit as limit n tends to infinite, this summation r to the power 1 by 3 upon n to the power 7 by 3, this summation 1 upon a n plus r whole square, where the value of r varies from 1 to n. Now what we'll do is, in the numerator, we'll multiply and divide with n to the power 1 by 3. And here also, we'll multiply and divide with n square. So we can write this as limit n tends to infinite. Now this is n square, and it'll cancel. So we'll get this as this summation r varies from 1 to n r by n to the power 1 by 3 upon this summation r varies from 1 by n, and this is 1 upon a plus r by n whole square, and it is equal to 54. Now what we'll also do is we'll multiply and divide everything with 1 by n. Now it satisfies all the 3 conditions for limit of sum. So we have n tends to infinite, we have 1 by n, and we have r by n. So we'll take r by n as x. So we'll change this as this integral x to the power 1 by 3 into dx, and then x is r by n. Now if r is 1, x is 1 by n, and n tends to infinite, so it will be 0. So lower limit is 0, and upper limit, when the value of r is n, so x in that case it will be 1. So it will be this integral from 0 to 1, x to the power 1 by 3 dx, and here also it will be this integral from 0 to 1 dx upon a plus x whole square, and it will be equal to 54. Now this is x to the power 4 by 3 upon 4 by 3, which is 3 by 4, and this is minus 1 upon a plus x. So it will be minus 1 upon a plus 1 plus 1 upon a, and it will be equal to 54. Now this is 3 into a plus 1 upon 4, and it will be equal to 54. This is 1 and 8. So we'll get this equation as a square plus a minus 18 into 4 equals 0. So it will be a square plus 9a minus 8a minus 18 into 4 equals 0. So it will be a plus 9 into a minus 8 equals 0. So value of a is minus 9 or the value of a is 8. So the possible values of a are 8 and minus 9, and that's your options A and D. Now here the question is, we are given this function fx which is limit n tends to infinite n to the power n into x plus n by 2 x plus n upon n divided by factorial n x square plus n square plus n square by 4 up to x square plus n square by n square to the power x by n for all x greater than 0. Now we'll write this fx as this limit n tends to infinite, and then it'll be n to the power n, and this product x plus n by r, where the value of r varies from 1 to n, and here it will be this factorial n, and we'll write this again as some product. R varies from 1 to n, it will be x square plus n square upon r square whole to the power x by n. Now we'll simplify this. We'll write this as fx equals this limit n tends to infinite n to the power n. Now what we'll do is we'll take n by r common, and if we take n by r common, it'll be n to the power n upon, now this is product of all r's, and product of all r's is nothing but it'll be this factorial n, and we'll write this as this product r varies from 1 to n r by n into x plus 1. And here also we'll take n square by r square common. So if we take n square by r square common, so it'll be n square n times, so it'll be n to the power 2n upon, now this is product of r squares, which is factorial n square, and then this product r varies from 1 to n x square r square n square plus 1 whole to the power x by n. Now n to the power 2n, n to the power 2n will cancel. Factorial n square will also cancel. So we can write this fx as this limit n tends to infinite, this product r varies from 1 to n r by n into x plus 1 upon this product r varies from 1 to n r square by n square into x square plus 1 whole to the power x by n. Now what we'll do is we'll take log both sides. When we take log both sides, we can write log fx will be this limit n tends to infinite. Now this power will come out, so it will be x by n, and then it will be log m by n, and log m by n is log m minus log n, and also log m into n is log m plus log n. So this product will change into summation. So it will be this summation r varies from 1 to n log r by n into x plus 1 minus this summation r varies from 1 to n r square by n square x square plus 1. Now we can rewrite this as log fx, and it will be this limit n tends to infinite x into, and this is 1 by n, this summation r varies from 1 to n log r by n x plus 1 and minus 1 by n, and this summation r varies from 1 to n r by n square into x square plus 1. Now this is limit of sum. So we have all the three conditions present here. This is limit n tends to infinite. We have this 1 by n, and we also have r by n at every place. And since x is already present in this variable, I'll take r by n as y, 1 by n as dy, and we have to take the limits. If we put r as 1, then limit of y will be 1 by n, and as n tends to infinite, it will be 0. And when r is n, this is 1. So we can write this as log fx, and it will be equal to this x into this integral from 0 to 1. Now we'll change r by n with y, so it will be log xy plus 1 into dy minus this integral from 0 to 1 log x square y square plus 1 into dy. We can also write this as log fx, and it will be x into this integral from 0 to 1 log xy plus 1 upon xy square plus 1 into dy. Now what we'll do is, it is an integral in y. So what we'll do is, we'll let x into y as t, then x dy will be simply dt. So we can write this log fx as this integral. Now when the value of y is 0, it will be 0. So this integral will be 0. And when y is 1, it will be x. This integral from 0 to x, now x dy is dt. So it will be log t plus 1 upon t square plus 1 into dt. Now we can write this fx as e to the power this integral from 0 to x log t plus 1 upon t square plus 1 dt. Now f dash x will be e to the power this integral from 0 to x log t plus 1 upon t square plus 1 dt into log x plus 1 upon x square plus 1. Now we consider this case when x lies between 0 and 1, then x plus 1 will be greater than x square plus 1, or x plus 1 upon x square plus 1 will be greater than 1. In that case, this log will be greater than 0. Then we'll say this f dash x, it is greater than 0, that is fx is strictly increasing. And if fx is strictly increasing, then we know that 1 by 3 is less than 2 by 3, or f 1 by 3 will be less than f 2 by 3. That means this option B, it is correct. So one of the correct option is this option B. Now if we look at f dash 2 will be this integral which is f2, and f2 is greater than 0, and then it will be log 3 by 5. Now 3 by 5 is less than 1, so it will be less than 0. So f dash 2 will be less than 0. So the next option is f dash 2 is less than 0. And for this option D, we know that f dash x upon fx, it is log x plus 1 upon x square plus 1. Now if we put x as 3, we'll get f dash 3 upon f3 will be log 4 by 10, which is log 2 by 5, and f dash 2 upon f2 will be log 3 by 5. So log 3 by 5, it is greater than log 2 by 5. So this option D is incorrect. So the only correct options are B and C. And then there will be questions on reduction formula. In reduction formula, we express some integral as in or I2n or I2n minus 1, and then we reduce this integral to some lower power, maybe in minus 1 or in minus 2. So in such cases, we get a recursive relation between in and some reduced form of the integral. And in many of the questions in reduction formula, we'll be using by parts. Say for example, we need to find natural number n less than or equal to 5, for which this integration in, which is from 0 to 1 e to the power x minus 1 to the power n dx, it is 16 minus 6e. Now we'll solve this question by parts. This is first function and this is your second function. We'll work out a reduction formula. So this in will be x minus 1 to the power n as it is, and it is e to the power x from 0 to 1, and then minus this integral from 0 to 1 n x minus 1 to the power n minus 1 into e to the power x dx. Now this is in. Now if we put x as 1, it will be 0, and if we put x as 0, it will be minus of minus 1 to the power n minus n, and this is x minus 1 to the power n minus 1 into e to the power x, which is nothing but in minus 1. So we get this recursive relation, which is in equals minus of minus 1 to the power n minus n minus 1. Now first we'll find I0. Now I0 is this integral from 0 to 1 e to the power x dx, which is e to the power x, which is e minus 1. So value of I0 is e minus 1. Now if we put n as 1, then we can write I1 equals minus of minus 1, it will be plus 1, and then minus 1 into I0, and I0 is e minus 1. So I1 is 2 minus e. We'll find I2. I2 will be minus 1 minus 2, and this is 2 minus e will be 2e minus 5. And if we find I3, I3 will be 1 minus 3 into 2e minus 5. So it will be 16 minus 6e. Now we need to find the value of n, for which the value of this integral is 16 minus 6e. So here the value of n is 3. So in this question, value of n is 3, and that's your option B. Now here the question is, we are given this integral which is in, and it is this integral from 0 to infinite e to the power minus x sine x to the power n dx, and we need to find the value of 101 I10 upon 10 I8. Now this is your first function, and e to the power minus x is your second function. So we can write in as this first function as it is. So it will be sine x to the power n into e to the power minus x upon minus x. Now minus this integral from 0 to infinite n sine x to the power n minus 1, and then derivative of sine x is cos x into e to the power minus x upon minus 1 dx. Now if we put x as infinite, e to the power minus infinite will be 0, and if we put x as 0, sin x will be 0. So this first expression will be 0. So we can write this in as n, and this is from 0 to infinite sin x to the power n minus 1 into cos x into e to the power minus x dx. Now what we'll do is, we'll use by parts again, taking this as first function and e to the power minus x as second function. So now we can write in equals n into, now first function as it is, so it will be sin x to the power n minus 1 into cos x, and then e to the power minus x upon minus 1 from 0 to infinite, and minus this integral from 0 to infinite. Now if we differentiate this, we'll get n minus 1 sin x to the power n minus 2, and derivative of sin x will be cos x. So it will be cos square x plus sin x to the power n minus 1 derivative of cos x is minus sin x, and then e to the power minus x is minus x upon minus 1 into dx. Now again, if we put x as infinite, e to the power minus infinite will be 0, and at 0 sin x will be 0. So this first expression will be 0. So we can write this in as n, and then minus and minus will be plus this integral n minus 1 0 to infinite sin x to the power n minus 2, and cos square x we can write as 1 minus sin square x into e to the power minus x dx, and minus 0 to infinite sin x to the power n e to the power minus x dx. Now this is in, this is n. Now here this first one will be n minus 1 n minus 2. Here will be minus n minus 1 in, and this one is minus in. So we can write basically in equals n into n minus 1 n minus 2, and here will be minus n square in, or we can write n square plus 1 in will be equal to n minus 1 into n minus 2. Now we need to relate I10 and I8. So we'll put n as 10. Now if we put n as 10, we'll get 10 square plus 1, 101. So it'll be 101 I10 will be equal to 10 into 9 I8. Now we need to find the value of 101 I10 upon 10 I8, and this is nothing but 9. So value of this expression is 9. We have this very important reduction formula in definite integrals which we generally use while solving problems, and that is this in, and it is this integral from 0 to pi by 2 sine to the power nx dx, and we know that 0 to a fx dx is 0 to a f a minus x dx. So if we replace x with pi by 2 minus x, we can also write this as from 0 to pi by 2 cos to the power nx dx. Now we need to simplify this formula. So what I'll do is I'll write this as in equals this integral from 0 to pi by 2 sine to the power n minus 1x into sin x dx, and we'll use by parts. So this is first function and that's your second function. So first function as it is, so it'll be sine n minus 1x, and integration of sin x is minus cos x. So that'll be from 0 to pi by 2. Now minus, and then integration from 0 to pi by 2. Derivative of sine to the power n minus 1x is n minus 1 sine to the power n minus 2x. Derivative of sin x is cos x, and then integration of sin x is minus cos x dx. Now if we put this limit, if x is pi by 2, then cos pi by 2 is 0, and if x is 0, then sin is 0 whenever n is greater than 1. So this expression will be 0. So we can write this in as, now here minus and minus will be plus, and we'll take n minus 1 out. So it will be n minus 1 and then 0 to pi by 2, and this is sine to the power n minus 2x into cos square x, and we'll write this cos square x as 1 minus sine square x dx. So this in will be n minus 1, this integral from 0 to pi by 2 sine to the power n minus 2x dx, and then if we multiply it with this, we can write this as minus this integral from 0 to pi by 2. Now n minus 2 plus 2 is sine to the power nx dx. Now this is in, this is n minus 1. Now it is same integral, it's just that power here is n minus 2. So this is in minus 2, and then minus, and it is nothing but it is in. So it will be n minus 1 into in. Now we'll take in on the left hand side, we'll get n in, and it will be equal to n minus 1 n minus 2, or we can write in as n minus 1 by n into n minus 2. Now this is the reduction formula of in. Now we can write this as in, and this is n minus 1. Now if we use reduction formula for in minus 2, it will be n minus 2, n minus 3, and then n minus 4, n minus 5, and the series will continue in two ways. If n is even, then the series will terminate at I0, and I0 is 0 to pi by 2 sine to the power 0x dx, which in this case will be simply pi by 2. And if n is odd, then it will terminate at I1, which is integration from 0 to pi by 2 sin x dx, which is minus cos x from 0 to pi by 2, then it will be 1. So if we have to write this reduction formula, we have to write it separately if n is even and if n is odd. Now if n is even, this formula will be n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3, and this is 2, 1, and then we have this I0, which is pi by 2. And if n is odd, then the formula is n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3, and this is 3, 2, and 1, because here we'll have I1. Now say for example, suppose we have to write this integral from 0 to pi by 2 sine to the power 4x dx. Now here the value of n is 4, so it will be 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I0, and I0 is pi by 2. So this value will be 3 pi by 16. So value of this integral from 0 to pi by 2 sine to the power 4x dx is 3 pi by 16. Now here the question is, if a1, a2, and a3 are three values of a which satisfy the equation, this integral from 0 to, it should be pi by 2. 0 to pi by 2 sin x plus a cos x cube dx minus 4a upon pi minus 2, 0 to pi by 2 x cos x dx, and it is equal to 2. We need to find the value of 1000 a1 square plus a2 square plus a3 square. Now let this be I1 and let this integral be I2. Now if we look at I1 is this integral from 0 to pi by 2. Now this is sine cube x plus a cube cos cube x plus 3a sine square x into cos x plus 3a square cos square x into sin x dx. Now this is I1. We can solve this using Walli's integral formula. So this is 3, 2, and I1 is 1, plus this is a cube, and this also is 2 by 3 plus 3a. Now here, if we take sin x as t, cos x dx will be dt. So it will be simply sin cube x upon 3 from 0 to pi by 2. Here 3 and 3 will cancel. And here if we take cos x as t, we'll get minus sin x as dt. So it will be minus 3a square cos cube x upon 3 from 0 to pi by 2. Now here also 3 and 3 will cancel. So we'll get this I1 as 2 by 3 plus 2a cube by 3, and here it will be a and minus minus plus a square. So that's the value of I1. Now we'll find the value of I2. I2 is this integral from 0 to pi by 2 x cos x dx. Now this is your first function and that's your second function. So it will be x sin x from 0 to pi by 2, and minus this integral from 0 to pi by 2 cos x is sin x dx and integration of sin x is cos x. Now this is pi by 2 minus plus cos x, and cos pi by 2 is 0 and cos 0 is 1. So it will be pi by 2 minus 1. So it will be pi minus 2 by 2. Now we'll put the value of I1 and I2. So we can write 2 by 3 plus 2 by 3 a cube plus a square minus 4a upon pi minus 2 into pi minus 2 by 2, and it is equal to 2. Now this pi minus 2 will cancel. This 2 will also cancel. So this is 2a. So we can write 2 by 3 a cube plus a square minus a, and this is 2 by 3 minus 2 will be minus 4 by 3. So minus 4 by 3 equals 0, or we can write this equation as 2a cube plus 3a square minus 3a minus 4 equals 0. Now this cubic equation has 3 real roots, a1, a2 and a3. Now a1 plus a2 plus a3, it is minus b upon a, so it will be minus 3 by 2, and a1 a2 a2 a3 plus a3 a1 will also be minus 3 by 2. Now we square this first. We can write a1 square plus a2 square plus a3 square will be 2 times a1 a2 a2 a3 a3 a1, which is minus 3 by 2, and this is 9 by 4. So from here we can say the value of a1 square plus a2 square plus a3 square will be 9 by 4 plus 3. So it is 12 plus 9, 21. So it will be 21 by 4. Now we need to find the value of 1000 a1 square plus a2 square plus a3 square. Now this value will be 1000, and then a1 square plus a2 square plus a3 square, it will be 21 by 4. Now this is 250. 250 into 21 will be 5250. So answer to this question is 5250. Now we have the second reduction formula, which also goes by the name Walli's integral formula, and it is this integral from 0 to pi by 2 sine to the power mx into cos to the power nx dx. It is m minus 1, m minus 3, m minus 5, n minus 1, n minus 3, n minus 5, and both the series, they go up to 2 or 1 depending on the values of m and n, divided by m plus n minus 2, m plus n minus 4, and so on. If m and n are both even, then the value of k is pi by 2, otherwise value of k is 1. Now we'll prove this formula also. Now say this is Imn, and it is given by 0 to pi by 2 sine to the power mx into cos to the power nx dx. Now let us consider a case where at least one of them is odd. Say n is odd. Now what we'll do is we'll write this as this integral from 0 to pi by 2 cos to the power n minus 1x into sine to the power mx into cos x dx, where we are going to take this function as first function and this other function as second function. Now if we use by parts, we can write cos to the power n minus 1x. Now if we take sin x as t, cos x dx will be dt. So it will be sin x to the power m plus 1. So it will be sin x to the power m plus 1 upon m plus 1 from 0 to pi by 2, and then minus this integral from 0 to pi by 2. Now derivative of this function, so it will be n minus 1 cos n minus 2x, derivative of cos x is minus sin x into sin x to the power m plus 1 upon m plus 1 dx. Now if we look at the limits, if we put x as pi by 2, this value will be 0, and if we put x as 0, sin x will be 0. So this first expression will be 0 till n minus 1 is greater than or equal to 1. So we can write this Imn as, this minus and minus will be plus, we'll take n minus 1 upon m plus 1 common, and here will be from 0 to pi by 2 cos to the power n minus 2x into sin x to the power m plus 2 into dx. Now we can write this as Imn will be equal to n minus 1 upon m plus 1, and this is I m plus 2 n minus 2, and this is our reduction formula for the given integral. Now if we use this reduction formula again, then we can write Imn will be equal to n minus 1 upon m plus 1, here will be n minus 3 upon m plus 3, and this series will continue till I m plus n minus 1 comma 1, since we have taken this n as odd number. Now if we look at I m plus n minus 1 comma 1 will be this integral from 0 to pi by 2 sin x to the power m plus n minus 1 into cos x dx, and this value will be equal to 1 upon m plus n. So we can write this relation as Imn equals n minus 1, n minus 3, n minus 5 upon m plus 1, m plus 3 up to m plus n. Now what we'll do is we'll multiply and divide it with m minus 1, m minus 5. In the denominator also we'll write this as m minus 1, m minus 3, m minus 5. So now we can write this Imn as n minus 1, n minus 3, n minus 5, and this is m minus 1, m minus 3, m minus 5, and this is m plus n, m plus n minus 2, m plus n minus 4, and this is what we need to prove. If n is odd, we'll get this result. If m is odd, we can interchange m and n, we'll again end up getting this same result. And if both of them they're even, then here we'll get this I0. And if we take this as I0, and when we'll solve this integral, we'll get this as pi by 2. So this formula is this integral from 0 to pi by 2 sin to the power mx into cos to the power nx dx. It is m minus 1, m minus 3, m minus 5, 2 or 1, n minus 1, n minus 3, n minus 5, 2 or 1. And this is m plus n minus 2, m plus n minus 4. And this is k. If both of them they are even, then in the end we'll have pi by 2. Or if at least one of them is odd, then we'll take this as 1. Now here the question is, if in equals this integral from minus pi to plus pi sin nx upon 1 plus pi to the power x sin x dx, then which of the following options are correct? Now this function, it is neither even nor odd, so we'll use the property a plus b minus x, and a plus b is 0, so we'll replace x with minus x, so we can write this in will be this integral from minus pi to plus pi sin n minus x, and here it is 1 plus pi to the power minus x, and this is sin minus x dx. Now minus and minus will be plus, and we can write pi to the power minus x as 1 upon pi to the power x. So will be this integral from minus pi to plus pi, pi to the power x, sine nx upon 1 plus pi to the power x into sine x dx. Now we'll add these two integrals. Now if we'll add them, we'll get 2in, and it'll be this integral from minus pi to plus pi, 1 plus pi to the power x into sine nx upon 1 plus pi to the power x upon sine x dx. Now 1 plus pi to the power x will cancel. Now this function, it is an even function, so we can use the property minus a to a fx dx will be 2 times 0 to a fx dx will be 0 to pi sine nx upon sine x into dx. Now this 2 and 2 will cancel. So basically this in will be this integral from 0 to pi sine nx upon sine x into dx. Now what we'll do is we'll find in minus n minus 2. So it'll be this integral from 0 to pi sine nx minus sine n minus 2x upon sine x into dx. Now this is sine c minus sine d. So it will be this integral from 0 to pi, and this is 2 sine x into cos n minus 1x upon sine x dx. Now this sine x and sine x will cancel. Now this integral will be 2 sine n minus 1x upon n minus 1 from 0 to pi. Now sine n pi is 0 and sine 0 is 0. So this right hand side will be 0. So from here we'll get this result as in equals in minus 2. So this is one of the results that we're getting. So we're getting in equals in minus 2, and if we replace n with n plus 2, we'll get in plus 2 equals in. That means this option A, it is correct. Now if n is even, say 2m, then I2m equals I2m minus 2 equals I2m minus 4, and they'll be equal to I2. Now what's I2? I2 is this integral from 0 to pi sine 2x upon sine x dx. Now this is this integral from 0 to pi 2 cos x dx, and integral of cos x is sine x, and sine pi is 0 and sine 0 is 0. So all of these, they are 0. So sum of all ims will be 0, and that's your option C. Now if we take n as an odd number, which is 2m plus 1, then I2m plus 1 equals I2m minus 1, and it will be equal to I1. Now what's I1? I1 is this integral from 0 to pi, and this is sine x upon sine x, which is 1. So it will be simply dx, and it is pi. So all these integrals, they'll be equal to pi. So this summation m varies from 1 to 10, I2m plus 1 will be pi plus pi plus pi 10 times. So there will be simply 10 pi, and this option D, it is incorrect. So the correct options are A, B and C.
All of us have studied factorials. Now, one of the commonly used extension to define factorial function is the gamma function. Now, gamma function is represented by this alphabet, which actually is the capital letter gamma from the Greek alphabet, and it is defined as integral from 0 to infinite x to the power z minus 1 into e to the power minus x dx. Now, we'll explore how this function is related to factorials. Now, suppose I have a gamma function which is defined as gamma z plus 1, and I can write it as 0 to infinite, and in place of z I'll write z plus 1, so I can write it as x to the power z into e to the power minus x dx. Now if I'll use integration by parts, so I'll take it as first function and I'll take it as second function. I can write it as x to the power z as it is, and then integral of e to the power minus x will be e to the power minus x minus 1, and then it'll be from 0 to infinite, and then minus 0 to infinite. Now differentiation of first function, so there'll be z into x to the power z minus 1, and then integral of the second one, which is e to the power minus x upon minus 1 into dx. So I can write it as minus x to the power z upon e to the power x. So from the limits 0 to infinite, and then minus, I'll take this minus z out, so I can write plus z, and this is 0 to infinite x to the power z minus 1 into e to the power minus x into dx. Now I'll put these limits in the given function. So if I'll put plus infinite, then I can write it as limit x tends to infinite x to the power z upon e to the power x, and then minus and minus will be plus, and there'll be 0 upon e to the power 0, and here I can write it as z into integral of 0 to infinite x to the power z minus 1 e to the power minus x into dx. Now from the concept used in limits, we know that the value of this limit is simply 0. So simply what I'll get is 0 plus 0. So there'll be z into, now if I look at this function closely, then it is nothing but, it is 0 to infinite x to the power z minus 1 e to the power minus x, which is nothing but gamma z. So the formula is gamma z plus 1 is equal to z into gamma z. Now suppose I take this z as some natural number n, then simply I can write gamma n plus 1 is n into gamma n. Now I can write gamma n as again n minus 1 into gamma n minus 1, and then I can also write it as n minus 1, n minus 2, and this is gamma n minus 2. It will continue up to gamma 1. Now what's gamma 1? So for gamma 1, all I need to do is I'll just need to put value of z as 1. So if I'll put value of z as 1, I can write gamma 1 as 0 to infinite x to the power 0 into e to the power minus x into dx. So there'll be e to the power minus x upon minus 1 from 0 to infinite. Now if I'll put infinite, so there'll be e to the power minus infinite minus 1 and plus, this is e to the power 0. Now we know that e to the power minus infinite is 0 and e to the power 0 is 1. So simply this value will be 1. So I can write it as n minus 1, n minus 2, and it goes all the way up to 3 to n1. So there'll be factorial n. So this is how gamma function is related to the factorial function. In one of the previous videos, we have studied gamma function as an extension of factorial function. Another function which is very important in calculus and analysis and is closely related to gamma function is beta function. So today we'll discuss beta function. Now beta function is defined as beta xy, this integral from 0 to 1, t to the power x minus 1, 1 minus t to the power y minus 1 dt, where real part of x is greater than 0 and real part of y is greater than 0. So now we'll study some of the properties of beta function and we'll prove some results also. So if I'll consider this beta function, I can write it as beta xy, and this is integral from 0 to 1 t to the power x minus 1, 1 minus t to the power y minus 1 into dt. Now we know that in definite integral 0 to a fx dx is equal to integral from 0 to a f a minus x into dx. So if we replace x with a minus x, then the value of definite integral remains the same. So we'll use the same property for this beta function. So I'll replace t with 1 minus t. So if I'll replace t with 1 minus t, I'll write, so this is from 0 to 1. 1 minus t to the power x minus 1, 1 minus t to the power y minus 1 dt, which is 0 to 1. Here it is 1 minus t to the power x minus 1, and here 1 and 1 will cancel. So I'll get t to the power y minus 1 into dt. Now these two integrals, they look the same except for x and y, they are interchanged now. So this second integral is actually nothing but this is beta yx, and that's our first result, which is beta xy is same as beta yx. Now another way of representing this beta function is in terms of theta. Rather than taking this parameter t, we can represent beta function in terms of theta also. So what we'll do is we'll make a substitution. We'll let t equals sine square theta, then dt is 2 sine theta cos theta d theta. So in that case, we'll write this beta xy as this integral. Now we'll need to put in the limits. So when t is 0, sine 0 is 0, so value of theta is 0. And when t is 1, sine 90 is 1, so this limit is from 0 to pi by 2. Now I'll put the value of t. T here is sine square theta, so that is sine square theta to the power x minus 1, and here it is 1 minus sine square theta to the power y minus 1 to sine theta into cos theta d theta. We can also write it as, so I'll take this 2 out, so this is 2 from 0 to pi by 2. Now we have sine theta to the power 2x minus 2, and then this one more sine theta, so actually it will be sine theta to the power 2x minus 1, and in the same way 1 minus sine square theta is actually cos square theta, so cos to the power 2y minus 2 into cos theta, so it will be cos theta to the power 2y minus 1 into d theta. So that is another representation of this beta function. Now we'll try and find the value of beta xy. So we'll treat this as an integral. So I'll take t to the power x minus 1 as my first function, and I'll take 1 minus t to the power y minus 1 as second function. And if I'll integrate, I'll write beta xy, it is equal to first function as it is t to the power x minus 1, and then 1 minus t to the power y upon y, then coefficient of t is minus 1, so this is minus y, limits from 0 to 1, and then minus this integral from 0 to 1, and then x minus 1 t to the power x minus 2, 1 minus t to the power y upon minus y into dt. Now I will put the value of this limit. So here if I'll put 1 minus 1 it will be 0, and if I'll put t as 0, then t to the power x minus 1 will be 0. So this first expression, its value will be 0 till the value of x is greater than 1. So I can write this beta xy as x minus 1 upon y, and this integral from 0 to 1 t to the power x minus 2 1 minus t to the power y into dt, which actually is x minus 1 upon y. Now for beta x, it is t to the power x minus 1. So here it will be beta x minus 1, and for y it was y minus 1. So here will be y plus 1. So we get this recurring relation, which is beta xy is equal to x minus 1 upon y and beta x minus 1 y plus 1. So that's our third result. So we can use this recurring relation to find value of this beta function. So I can write this as beta xy, and here it is x minus 1 upon y. Now in the same way, we can write beta x minus 1 y plus 1 as x minus 2 y plus 1, and then it'll be beta x minus 2 y plus 2. So we can continue like that. So we'll continue like that. Then we can write beta xy as x minus 1 upon y, x minus 2 upon y plus 1, x minus 3 upon y plus 2, and it'll continue up to beta x minus 1 and y plus x minus 1. So which is beta xy is equal to x minus 1 upon y, x minus 2 upon y plus 1, x minus 3 y plus 2 will continue, and here I'll get this as beta 1 and y plus x minus 1. Now we'll simplify this beta function. So we know that, so this beta 1 y plus x minus 1 will be equal to this integral from 0 to 1, and then here the value of x is 1, so it will be t to the power 0, then 1 minus t. Now for y it is y minus 1, so y plus x minus 1 will be y plus x minus 2 into dt. So if I'll integrate it, I'll get 1 minus t y plus x minus 1 upon y plus x minus 1 from 0 to 1, and then this minus sign because of this minus t. So we'll put the limits, we'll get this value as 1 upon y plus x minus 1. So we'll put the value of beta 1 comma y plus x minus 1. So we'll put this value, then we'll get this beta function as, so this is beta xy, and here will be x minus 1, x minus 2, x minus 3, and it goes all the way up to 1. And here in the denominator we'll have y plus 1, y plus 2, and then y plus x minus 1. Now what I'll also do is I'll multiply and divide it with 1, 2, 3 up to y minus 1, and I'll divide it also. So 1, 2, 3, and then y minus 1. Now if we look at this function, so this is beta xy. Now 1 into 2 into 3 up to x minus 1, it is nothing but factorial x minus 1. So I can write it as factorial x minus 1, and then 1 into 2 into 3 up to y plus 1. So that is factorial y minus 1, and in the denominator it is 1, 2, 3 up to y plus x minus 1. So there will be factorial x plus y minus 1. So we can simplify this beta function as beta xy equals factorial x minus 1 into factorial y minus 1 divided by factorial x plus y minus 1. Now we also know that gamma n is equal to factorial n minus 1. So we can write this result as beta xy. Now factorial x minus 1 is gamma x, factorial y minus 1 is gamma y, and factorial x plus y minus 1 is gamma x plus y. So that is the relationship between beta function and gamma function. We can also prove this relationship between beta function and gamma function using double integrals.
Now here the question is, given that for each a belongs to 0, 1, this limit h tends to 0, integral from h to 1 minus h t to the power minus a into 1 minus t to the power a minus 1 dt exists, and let this limit be GA. Now it is given that GA is differentiable on 0 to 1. We need to find the value of G1 by 2. Now if we look at G1 by 2, G1 by 2 will be this limit h tends to 0 positive from h to 1 minus h, and it will be t to the power minus 1 by 2 and 1 minus t to the power minus 1 by 2 into dt, which we can write as this integral from 0 to 1 upon under root of t into 1 minus t dt. Now it will be this integral from 0 to 1 dt, and here it will be this t minus t square. Now we'll complete this perfect square by adding 1 by 4 and by subtracting 1 by 4. We can write g1 by 2 as this integral from 0 to 1 dt upon under root of 1 by 2 square, and then minus, if we take minus common, it will be t minus 1 by 2 square. Now this is under root of a square minus x square, which is sine inverse x upon a. So we can write g1 by 2 as sine inverse t minus 1 by 2 upon 1 by 2 from 0 to 1. Now we put t as 1, it will be sine inverse 1, which is pi by 2, and then minus, and if we put t as 0, it will be sine inverse minus 1, which is minus pi by 2. So this value will be pi. So the value of g1 by 2, it is nothing but pi, and that's your option A. Now the next question is find the value of g dash 1 by 2. We're given that g is this limit h tends to 0, this integral from h to 1 minus h t to the power minus a 1 minus t to the power a minus 1 into dt. Now if we find g 1 minus a, g 1 minus a will be this limit h tends to 0. This is from h to 1 minus h t to the power minus 1 minus a and 1 minus t to the power minus a dt. And we know the property that integration of a to b fx dx is integration of a to b f a plus b minus x. Now in this case a plus b is 1. So we can write g 1 minus a as this limit h tends to 0, this integral from h to 1 minus h. Now we'll put t as 1 minus t, so it will be 1 minus t to the power minus 1 minus a, and here it is t to the power minus a dt. Now this is nothing but GA. So from here we can write GA is equal to G 1 minus a. That means this function gx, it is symmetric about a equals 1 by 2. Now it is given that this function gx, it is a differentiable function. So if the function is differentiable and it is symmetric about 1 by 2, then clearly g dash 1 by 2, it should be 0. So value of g dash 1 by 2, it should be 0, and that's your option D.
If you like the video, consider subscribing and sharing it with someone you know who might benefit from it. Also, the best way to navigate any topic is through a playlist. Simply go to the channel page, click playlist, and select the topic you wish to study.